Alright, let's check out questions 6 through 8 on 5.6 homework. So we're told here that AE and BD are medians. So when you see that, you should be able to immediately, so this is a median, which means it cuts CD into two equal lengths, side lengths, segments. Same thing here with BD. It's cutting CA into two equal segments. So, with that information, you can set up some equations. Of course, first you have to identify these measures. 6y plus 10 for BC. AB is y squared plus 3y. Then over here we have that CE is 6x plus 12. And that ED is 2x plus 60. So you should notice that these two over here, they're congruent segments. Let's change them to a different color. So we know that they're congruent, which means their measures are equal. 6x plus 12 is equal to 2x plus 60. So this one you should have an easy time of solving. So x equals 12. Good, we got the value of x. Now we need to find the value of y. We know that BA is congruent to BC since DB was a median. So we can say y squared plus 3y equals 6y plus 10. Now we have a quadratic here because we have a squared variable and then we have a variable that doesn't get eliminated in any way. So we have y squared minus 3y minus 10 equals 0. This is how we need to write our quadratic so that we can actually solve. You could use the quadratic formula. This would be your a value 1. Let me just write this here. So your y would be equal to b plus or minus the square root of b squared. This is actually negative b. Minus 4ac all over 2a. And then plug those values in. This would be your b, this would be your c. Some people do like doing that more. With numbers like this, negative 3 and negative 10, I'm just going to factor. So for starts, I know it's going to look like this. And since since our product is negative 10, notice there's no value in front of y squared. So our product is negative 10. And then our sum, so there's two numbers that multiply together to get negative 10, must add up to get negative 3. So I'll put negative 3 right here. So this is how you need to see this. So what two numbers multiply together to get negative 10? Well, 10 times negative 1, that doesn't work. When I add those, I get 9. How about 5 times negative 2? If I do 5 plus negative 2, notice their sum is not negative 3, it's positive 3. So that's not going to work. Finally, I do negative 5 and positive 2. Negative 5 plus positive 2 equals negative 3. So these are my two terms, negative 5 and positive 2. Good. So I'm going to get rid of all this so we have some space. Okay, now that I have this fully factored, I can find what values of y would make this equation true. So if y plus 2 equals 0 to make that equation true, then y must equal negative 2. So there's one solution. Notice if I plug in negative 2 here, in that parentheses, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So hopefully that helps you understand the point in the process of doing quadratics, solving by grouping, by factoring. Here we have, let's go back to blue, y equals positive 5. Okay, those are your two solutions for y, but if you plug in negative 2 here, for 6y plus 10, you get negative 12 plus 10, which is negative 2, and our segments can't be negative. So what I would do is just cross this out. Cool. Put this right here. So we found the values of x and y. It says find the range of possible lengths for side AD. So that means I got to plug this in. Y we said was 5. Yeah, y equals 5. So this would be 30 plus 10, which is 40, which means this whole length here, I said 40, right? Yeah, so this should be 80. And then if x equals 12, let's plug it in here. That'd be 24 plus 60 would be the length of ED. So we get 84. Wow, that does not make sense. So this whole thing would be 84 times 2, which is 168. So the range of possible lengths for side AD would have to be between, and you guys please remember how to do this, just start out with what I have written here in black. And I add the two numbers together to get the higher part of the range. So that would be 248. And then I subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. So 168 minus 80 should be 88. Hopefully I plugged those values in fine. Okay. So this would be the range of possible lengths for AD. Oh. Given RS is an altitude, find the measure of angle SRT and find the measure of STR. Really, we're just finding the value of x. So when you read this, RS is an altitude, the first thing you should do is look at RS and know that it creates a right angle. Okay. Creates a right angle here too. But really for this problem, I believe this is the one that is pertinent, important. So I know that the measure of angle SRT, this is SRT here, is, it says 4x minus 8. And then the measure of STR is 6x plus 13. Okay, looking at this, I actually see a triangle formed by all these angles I just checked out. You see the triangle? Now, since this is 90 degrees here, what remains out of 180 degrees, the sum of all the angles in a triangle? If you already have 90 taken up, that means the remaining, these two, must equal 90 when you add them up. So 4x minus 8 plus 6x plus 13 equals 90. So that's all you need to do, just solve for x and you're good. It says the triangles shown, this is question 8, the triangles shown are congruent by HL congruence. Using the hypotenuse and leg shown, that's nice. So it's just saying this is congruent to this. So you know 3y plus x is equal to y plus 5. And then the legs here are y minus x and x plus 5. Okay, so set up and solve a system of equations. We have y minus x equals x plus 5. and then this equation here. To solve using a system of equations, what I like to do is get all my x's and y's on one side of each equation, and then the constant, the number not being multiplied by a variable, on the right side. So what I'll do here is subtract y from both sides. Let me do this in black. So 2y plus x equals 5. And then for this one, I'm going to subtract x from both sides and get y minus 2x equals 5. Now what you want to look at is the coefficients on each variable. Notice that 2 and 1, since this is technically 1y, are different. The same thing is true of the coefficients on x. 1 and negative 2, those are different. So what we need to do if we're solving by elimination is multiply one of these by a number that'll make it so our coefficients are the same. If I multiply this by 2, then I will have 2y for both equations, which will allow me to eliminate. So this 2y minus 4x equals 10. I've just multiplied that equation by 2 to get this one here. Alright, now I can subtract one from the other. This whole equation will be subtracted from the one on top. 2y minus 2y is 0. There's the elimination. X minus negative 4x is 5x. And 5 minus 10. 5 minus 10 is negative 5. So x equals negative 1. So now that I have that, I can plug it into any of those equations I had. This one, this one, this one, any of them. And I'll be able to figure out what y is. It looks like this one right here, and I'll just highlight the part that makes it easier. Just that equation will be the easiest way. So y minus 2 times, oh, this is negative 1. X equals negative 1. Negative 1 equals 5. My pen is lagging. So y plus 2 equals 5. So I should be getting that y equals 3. Alright, now that I know those values, I can plug them in to whichever one of these I want. Maybe I'll do this one right, this triangle here. So if I plug in x for right here, that side of that triangle, that's negative 1 plus 5, that would make this 4. And then if I plug in y here, 3 for y, I get 8. So to find the length of the third side, understand that we have a hypotenuse and a leg. And you guys have learned Pythagorean's theorem as A, let's do a different color. This is A, this is B, and this is C. C is your longest side, your hypotenuse. So we should have an equation like this. 4 squared plus the third side squared, one of those legs, we'll call it A. You call it B too, it doesn't really matter. It's equal to 8 squared. So we get 16 plus A squared equals 64. If we subtract 16 from both sides, A squared equals, what's 64 minus 16? Should end in an 8. Minus 58, so 48. So A should be the square root of 48. Okay. Does it say to, no, it doesn't say to write in simplest form, so we can just write square root 48. That's fine. Okay, that's all.